Good evening, lore seeker. It is I, Orkar Isber, your guide in the Sanguine Archives, where we explore the lore of the world of darkness, from a perspective of and a focus on vampires, namely Clan Baali. So let me be your guide through the memories of the blood. Let me guide you tonight deep into the depths of the labyrinth, where we will find ancient and mythological wisdom, lore and knowledge, and uncover what is real and what isn't. In tonight's venture, we will go a very, very dark path. We will actually visit the unholy horror that makes so many people, so many Canaanites, fear Clan Baali. Born into darkness, the embrace of the Baali, including of course the Reembrace. And that is actually a topic that will take a little bit of time. So grab yourself something to drink and enjoy. What do the Baali look for when embracing? Well, the Baali appear to be the most careful of all clans with whom they embrace. Accidental embraces do not happen among the Baali. Embracing out of love or need doesn't happen among the Baali. Ironically, the Baali are the only clan that actually give the mortal a choice. They don't give you the embrace. If you want to be a lord, you have to take it for yourself. The Baali will bring you to the brink of death, may it be torture, beating, combat, draining, whatever works. Then they throw you several meters down into a well, filled with corpses and vile, and hide a raw heart filled with Baali blood somewhere down there inside a corpse. When the rot enters your nose and makes you vomit, you will begin your journey likely with broken legs or arms. If you want to be a Baal, you have to fight death itself. Do not succumb to pain or misery or fear or the panic of approaching death. Don't give in to the sweet sleep that promises relief from a torment. You have to search through the rotting flesh and tear apart corpses with your broken hands for that one heart, and you have to find it in time before you actually die, and then consume it whole. If you do all of that, then and only then will you awake as a Baal, a lord, one of Clan Baali. Not by someone else's whim, but by your own choice and power. And that brings us to what the Baali actually look for in candidates. Now it is true that some Baali, the ones steering the ship of bones that is sometimes called Nagelfar, may attack another ship at sea randomly and just toss any survivors into the hull that is filled with corpses and see if someone makes it out alive. And thus, leaving criteria aside, what proves the candidate to be worthy is sheer drive and willpower, and hence most often it is said that the Baali look for one thing only: drive. The truly driven are worthy to become lords, and that might be true and fitting. However, by far most embraces do not happen so randomly as with the ship, and to the Baali they have to be very careful, and possible children have to be chosen really carefully, and often are fostered for many, many years, corrupted more and more until it's too late to turn back. With apostates, the Baali do it in this exact way. They look for worthy kindred that would make a great addition to the Baali clan, and then over decades slowly corrupt them and see if they walk the path to hell, not only willingly but fully aware and driven by their goal, and only then, when it is too late to snitch, they will tell that their guide down the road is actually a Baali and offer them a choice: convert or die. And they seem to do the same with mortals. Now you can say that's not much of a choice, but Well, nobody is perfect, and least of all are the Baali. So I believe that the Baali embrace exceptionalism first, drive second. Both is needed, the exceptionalism to be sure you are a worthy addition to the clan, useful and intelligent enough to do the double masquerade, and the drive to make sure you stay that way for eternity. And while the Baali are in constant state of war between the factions, actual backstabbing and betrayal seems to be entirely absent among them. I mean, the factions fight each other, that is sure. Moloch did betray Nurgle, but they are from different factions. No Molochim, to my knowledge, has ever betrayed another Molochim. Neither has a Nergali ever betrayed another Nergali, and so on and so forth. Now we will leave the safe roads of the books, and I want to talk to you about the Reembrace. You hear a lot of stories about it, if you are a Baali, that is. The sad fact is that the Reembrace is something that happens comparatively rarely. The thing is, in order to do the Reembrace, you have to be very advanced 7 dots in Daimonion and knowledged in the clan discipline of the Baali. And very few actually have that. Now, if you have that, you will give the to-be apostate a choice. As I said, you choose carefully and make sure that they are fostered well. You give them a hint. And I want to go to the Order of the Worm for this, because the Order of the Worm is a big concentration of Baali within Clan Tremere. And in there, the Tremere are fostered to become apostates regularly. So, as a Baali, you will know the desires and the fears of others around you, and you can play with them. Give them some knowledge, give them some normal knowledge, give them something they desire, but just bit by bit. Just hint at where they find what they want. Don't just hand it to them. They want to become lords after all, or they shall become lords, let's say. And the Lord has to take everything for himself. So you don't just hand them a gift. You give them a chance to prove themselves worthy, to receive something in return, or you give them hints where they have to look to actually gain something. So you keep hinting, and the one you are luring in keeps walking and walking down the path, more and more, until it is too late to turn back. Then you invite them into the secret circle. Give them some more knowledge and see how they react. Give them some chores. Give them ways to be able to prove themselves to you and the clan. After they did that, well, you can actually begin with the ritual. Similarly to with the actual embrace, you will have to bring the vampire pretty much close to final death. You can do it by torture, which is the preferred method, or you can just drain them until only their heart's blood is left. You can let them frenzy and see what happens, just for fun. Then you throw them into a well, just like you do with the mortals. Fill a heart with your blood, hide it, and see how they drink. Repeat this in 3 following nights. This way they are at first bloodbound to you. After that, you actually cast a magic incantation about them that prevents them from final death when you try to diablerize them. You will drain almost all of their blood until only the Baali blood you gave them is left. When that happens, the blood of the first men will take over, and they will experience a second embrace. And when they awaken, they will be fully fledged Baali. It's also advisable that you have some demons ready to help in the process, just to make sure that the to-be apostate doesn't actually die. Can you do this against someone's will? Yes. If you need a scapegoat, you can actually just drain and feed them at the same time. You can actually try to convert them a bit quicker if you need to. Finally, if you choose someone to embrace into the clan of the Baali, keep in mind that you are responsible for them. You have to be ready to put them down at any given moment, but I guess that shouldn't be the issue. Now, with all of that said, I think we will end the venture for tonight and just contemplate a little bit about what was said. This secret of the Baali is not so much a secret as many know that we need wells to embrace mortals. And while that is somewhat true, the wells that are of real importance are not just wells that you can create yourself. The best wells are the so-called ancient wells. And what they are simply infested with demonic presence, and even those of the outer realms and elder gods, or the abyss itself. And those wells just help the process tremendously and make the to-be Baali a bit more powerful, a bit more experienced with the dark arts than normal wells do. And if you want to create a well yourself, you can't just dig a hole and throw dead bodies in. You actually have to defile the well with barbaric acts, unspeakable things that you have to do, horrendous things. Let's just say they include a lot of things that are banned on this platform, let's say. And after you did that, you have to be sure that the demonic presence manifests there. It definitely helps if you have the spirits and the ghosts of the deceased trapped down there. Summon demons if you have to, and make the well a really unholy presence. A good way to create such wells is to do it on top of the holy cairns of werewolves, or the nodes of power that the mages use. Such wells will actually work, others won't. As I said, digging a hole itself isn't enough. You actually have to put in some effort. The blood of the Baali needs some special preparation to actually be able to override someone's blood. With mortals, in theory, you could do it with just a hole in the ground and dead bodies, but they deserve a little bit better. After all, they are to become lords. Now, let's leave this for real, and maybe we'll come back later to this, but for now, let's end the visit of the Sanguine Archives. I hope you enjoyed it, and your trip and your stay made you learn something. If you want to help me, please tell others about the Sanguine Archives, and subscribe to our, well, let's say, newsletter. It really helps a lot, and I would appreciate it. Thank you and good night.